Hey everyone, welcome to another time-lapse video. So as usual, this time-lapse video is created from a full-length tutorial that I have made specially for my Patreon supporters. So if you want to watch this tutorial at normal speed and learn more about sketching or watercolor techniques, you can support me on my Patreon page. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can pledge a certain dollar amount to help out the creator, to support the creator that you like. Alright, for this sketch, this is a scene of Chinatown in Bangkok. So I was there a few weeks ago on a holiday. I spent about 1 week there and there were a lot of things to draw, but of course I did not have time to draw everything that I see, so I took some reference photo, and this sketch is drawn from a reference photo. So Chinatown is a very busy area. It's a really lively and interesting place to sketch. The pen that I'm using is the Pelikan M200 fountain pen with Noodler's bulletproof black ink, and this sketchbook that I'm using has Fabriano Studio paper. It's actually a customized sketchbook. I got someone to make it and I provided the Fabriano Studio paper to them. It has 25% cotton content, so it's quite good for watercolor purposes. So for this particular sketch, I started from the left to the right. And this sketchbook is actually A5 size. The scene is quite complicated, but the sketchbook is not that big, so I have to simplify a lot of things. I have to keep things simple because I cannot fit all the details on such a small page. I knew I wanted to have the power cables on the left side. I also want the power stand to be in the scene, so I drew that first. That's actually the largest object in the scene, and once I fit that in, I proceed on to draw from left to right. And after I draw the largest object, I will have no problems fitting all the smaller objects in the scene. And the smaller objects, as you can see, are the cars, the vehicles, the people on the street, and also the buildings on the right side. I try to draw objects that are in the foreground first because they will overlap objects that are in the background, such as the cars in the back and also the buildings. Drawing vehicles from observation or from real life can be challenging if they are moving all the time. One tip that I can give you on drawing vehicles would be to practice drawing stationary vehicles on your own first. So the more you draw, the more you will be able to remember how a vehicle should look like, how a car should look like, and that image of a car from different angles will be in your mind. So next time when you're drawing on location, even if a vehicle moves off, you can replace that with the vehicle from your mind, with something that you can remember. I think this helps a lot because the cars, they really just do not stop for you. Another tip is to draw very quickly when the cars are stuck in traffic jam. The colors that I'm using today are the colors that I have bought a few days ago and featured in a separate video. The colors are Monte Amiata, Natural Sienna, so that's the yellow that I'm using. The red is Organic Vermilion. The blue is Indanthrone Blue. I also have green, that's Phthalo Green, yellow shade, and later on I'm going to use some white gouache to paint in some white areas. With a limited color palette of 4 colors, it's actually easier to achieve color harmony. You do not have so many colors to worry about. So to mix orange, you have 1 yellow, 1 red. That's the only option you go to, so it's easier to paint with it, and you can actually learn a lot more about color mixing. Not just that, you can learn a lot more about specific colors as well. Now the main yellow that I'm using is Natural Sienna. This is a muted yellow that I can use straight from the tube without much mixing because the color, the yellow, it's not as bright and glaring compared to brighter yellows like lemon yellow or Hansa yellow. in real life you seldom see yellows that clean. Yellows are usually muted, so that's why when I use sienna straight from the tube, it still looks quite good. It still looks quite natural. The gray tone that I'm using right now is mixed with the 3 primary colors. I try not to mix the colors completely on the palette. If you mix them completely on the palette, they have a tendency to lose the vibrancy, and you will not be able to see the individual colors that are used to create that mixture. Grays are more interesting to look at when you can still see traces of colors that were used to mix that. So I try to mix those grays on the paper as well. I can mix some grays on the palette, but when I apply them to the paper, sometimes I will charge in extra colors when the wash is still wet, just to get that variation, get some extra color going on. You can see that at the bottom right side of the sketch where I charged in extra Indanthrone blue when the wash was still wet. So now the road looks a bit more interesting and not flat. I actually wanted to use my white gel pen to draw some of the lines, but I wasn't able to find the gel pen. I think I lost it somewhere. So I used this permanent white wash instead. It's opaque and it's quite convenient to use, especially when you are covering large areas. So this is a bit more convenient compared to using the white gel pen. For example, just now I painted over the back window of that taxi. It would be very difficult to use the white gel pen to do the same. So this is basically a mixed media sketch with pen and ink, watercolor and gouache. I had a lot of fun painting this. You can see the style is very loose. I tried to sketch this very quickly. The whole sketch was probably completed in an hour. This sketch is also an exercise in simplification. Because the page is small, I cannot fit in all the details. So sometimes when you draw on smaller pages, it will actually force you to discard details that are not important. And the trick to simplifying is to draw from big to small, and when you have no space to draw the details, just leave them out. These are the 4 colors that I use. I added phthalo green yellow shade because I am not able to get a bright green from mixing sienna and Indanthrone blue. I wanted a bright green, so I added that phthalo green. If you want to practice sketching this scene, you can download the reference photo. The link will be in the video description below. So that's all for today's video. If you are a beginner and you want to learn how to sketch from observation or sketch on location, you can check out my other tutorial videos on Gumroad and also on Patreon. I will put the links in the video description below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.